Hello, everyone. Good
Hello.
afternoon,
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Hello, everyone.
wherever
Welcome.
you might be and whatever might be the time of day for you. Welcome to Agile 101 with Humble Associates. It's myself, TK, and this is Arif, my wonderful friend and business partner. And
Hey,
today we'll be
everyone.
talking about Scrum.
Yes, Scrum for non-tech work. That's what we're talking
Non-tech
about,
work,
isn't it?
Arif. What do you
Yes,
mean by non-tech work?
exactly. Well, that's in the title. I think we owe our audience an explanation. What are
Yeah,
we
we
talking
do.
about? Well, firstly, obviously, welcome and thank you for gifting us your time today. We really appreciate that, and we love all of our viewers, and we appreciate you all for
Every single
joining
one.
us. So let's introduce the topic. Yes, you follow us for you've been following us for a while, probably attending previous events, and we were going through very, I think, basic awareness and understanding and knowledge around what agile is, where does it come from, how you can apply it, etc. So off the back of our last episode where we were introducing some agile
Mhm.
methodologies more broadly, we thought we'd dive into Scrum as one of those methods in a bit more detail today and give you some kind of insight as to how you might want to use it for non-tech work. Why are we talking about non-tech work? Well, because quite simply, agile comes from or has a historical connection to software development, right?
Quite a
And
connection indeed, Arif, yes.
exactly. So, but we're all about non-software uses of agile and non-software uses of methodologies like Scrum. So, we think there's a strong part to play that Scrum has in non-tech work. That's what we think. So, we're going to share a bit about that, aren't we, TK?
And if you think alike, give us a
Yeah.
shout in the comments. Let us know that you're here. We can see quite a few of you. Huge turnout today, so hopefully you'll have fun. So non-tech means, and I was trying to call it non-IT, but Arif said, "Oh, non-IT. This is
No.
so traditional.
No.
We shouldn't call it non-IT anymore.
Exactly.
People, digital technology and so on and software. We call
Who
it
says that?
non-tech. But if you're constructing engines, it's possibly a session for you. So let's remind people about the concept of the Azure Onion. Arif, would you like to guide our viewers through the Azure Onion?
Yeah, if you missed it last time, no problem. We'll go through it again. But you've probably got it on the screen right now,
I
haven't
do.
you, TK? So for our viewers out there looking and watching this, you'll see kind of a layered approach to what Agile is all about. So on the one hand, you see what's visible and what's apparent and what you can maybe excuse me, if you went and visited or you're part of an organization where Agile ways of working are being applied right now, you're able to see some practices, some tools that or processes perhaps that are definitely following the spirit of agile ways of working,
Mm-hmm.
and that's quite visible. It's easy. You can, I wouldn't say touch and feel them, but they're easy to spot and observe, right? Um, However, there are layers to agility or layers to agile ways of working which kind of underpin that, so which are difficult to see. They're not very visible, but things like values, principles, mindset, for instance, all of these different elements are not really about what you see on the outside, but they're what maybe make up how you might bring agile to your workplace or to your organization. And of course, values and principles come from the agile values and principles, which we covered way back when.
We did, and you can look at the recording to be able to see them from way back when, as Arif said. But the important thing, which we're going to talk about today, is Scrum. So Scrum is a set of principle practices, some tools and processes too, and it's really popular. A lot of people really even associate Scrum with agility itself, as in
Yeah,
having the equalizer. And it's so popular because it was one of the first things in the market. It's self-contained, and it works really well in certain contexts. And we
yeah,
believe it can work really well for stuff outside of IT, outside of tech, because we've been using it for quite a while ourselves in, I would say, two possible scenarios. But before I go there, a quick explanation what Scrum is. So
yes,
Scrum is a framework that is designed to deliver iterative value in small cycles through inspecting and adapting. It's self-contained, so you have a team of people, you have a product that you want to develop or some value stream, and then you work in small iterations with prescribed events to get something done in these small packages, which are called product increments in Scrum. you might not be working on products, you might not be working on software, but this is something that has been really successful in other areas beyond this. But there's two main areas that we've used it, which is delivering products and services and business change. So Arif, what are they? How do they differ?
Yeah, let's talk about that. I think one of the things, just to go back on that Scrum explanation a little bit for our viewers as well, is that it is a very much collaborative framework or a team-based model of work. So there is a strong driver for the structure of how the work gets done is very much it's very much team-based and collaboration-based, and therefore it is really about the people that you're bringing together to solve a particular problem, working in this way in order to achieve the goal. Now, to your point,
but before you go, Arif, if our viewers can give us a comment and let us know how they would define Scrum, if they have a better definition, do go on. Or if you like mine, give me a thumbs up. Go ahead, Arif, and let's talk about the delivering of products and services and business change.
We should, yes. Obviously, as TK said, comments and questions in the chat, please, so we can refer to them or address them as we go. So when it comes to product services and business change, I think what we've seen and what we've noticed in the work we do, isn't it, TK, that organizations are kind of trying to solve either one of those two challenges, or sometimes both, and there is some overlap, but let's make them distinct for the time being, which is when we're talking about business change, we may be talking, for instance, your organization nowadays, ESG is a very popular topic for instance, right? ESG, environmental sustainability, governance, all of these challenges are quite high on the agenda for many organizations, and they're looking for how do they bring change within an organization to start implementing or working towards ESG, internal ESG goals. And so we've been working, for example, with some organizations who use Scrum or Scrum-like process to start bringing in some of those changes into their organization, such as increasing the sustainability of their offices, or, for example, bringing in some new changes around diversity, inclusion, and belonging, and so on and so forth. So there are some examples there where we've seen organizations apply Scrum to bring business change into an organization, right?
And you can apply it to both. And this is a very interesting thing about Scrum, that it works in both settings.
Totally, 100%. And when it comes to the products and services side of things, we've been working, for example, with other organizations where they, write books, produce books. They are authors and book publishers, but they're looking to improve their process for how they produce their books and get them out to market and publish them. And we've been helping them with how they can work more collaboratively in a team-based model to then try and deliver iteratively their publishing process, improve their publishing process through an iterative model, which has been quite exciting, quite different. We've even been helping, for example, an engineering business who are trying to build a zero-emission aircraft using a Scrum.
They've actually built one. Come on, Arif.
They have built it. They've got a demonstrator up and flying around. Exactly. So there's plenty of examples, I think, where we can show that where you're delivering products or you're delivering services to some consumer on one hand, or you're making change to your business on the other hand, Scrum or some iterative or an iterative model like Scrum can really be effective in getting rapid change, early feedback, and demonstrable value delivered to whoever those consumers may be, internal or external.
Absolutely. And when you consider Scrum, it has been designed to actually deliver this core value, which is products and services. But doing business change or managing business change with it is quite innovative. And it really has a lot of advantages compared to classical ways of doing so. So I encourage you to think about it. And if you'd like to hear more, let us know in the comments. And by the way, please. Anya has some great definition of Scrum. So basically, I like how you did it, Anya, because you use what I'm using myself, which is comparison. Instead of waiting for a long time, it's short portions and iterations.
Yes.
And guess what? When it comes to business change, it's roughly the same. The business change gets done quicker, and it takes usually a long time to do business change. But how is it coming about? Where does a concept called sprints? And there is an interesting one about sprints. So Arif, what's a sprint?
Well,
Except of the guy running.
this is exactly. This is a crucial, I suppose, element or feature of Scrum,
Mhm.
and the word implies speed, right?
Yes.
It does imply speed, but we're not talking about speed. So it isn't so much speed in how fast you get something done, but it is more about the idea of. I think the word iteration is more applicable. I prefer that word.
I do
think
prefer
it
it
has
too, yes.
it's more accessible language, and I think people can get on board with that word rather than sprint. So if I use the word iteration, what we're talking about is how you evolve the work you're doing, the delivery of the work you're doing, how you evolve it over time. And the way you do that in Scrum is you set yourself a time box and you say, right, within this time box, we're trying to aim to get a portion of our work delivered. By doing that and by working to a time box, we will restrict ourselves in some ways, but we'll gain in others. How will we gain? Well, we'll gain by gaining or hopefully receiving early feedback of our work. Because by creating a short time box within which to try and deliver something, we'll get to the end and we'll have something to show for it. We'll be able to demonstrate something to someone and get some feedback and say, look, is this something we want? Is this the direction of the business change we're leading, for example? We thought that our internal staff really had a problem with, for example, plastic cups in the office space, and we did a bit of research, and we've come to the end of our iteration, and we've discovered now through our research that no, the actual issue is water wastage. That's the issue. It's not the plastic cups, it's water wastage. Actually, the plastic cups, they've got other ways to solving that. So there you go. Within a couple of weeks, we've found some feedback for the work we've been doing, and now we can go again. We can do another time box. We'll try something else. We'll get some more learning, and then we'll evolve, and then we'll keep going.
So and I agree, Arif, yeah. But there's something that really needs to be done for the time box to work, which is one of my favorite slides with Drake. Let me just show it. It's all about making sure you show tangible outcomes. There is an inherent problem. It's all well and good when it comes to working in these iterations, but you can only get proper results when you, and I will use the word, force yourself and really work hard to get tangible outcomes at the end. The problem is many people are applying Scrum, whether to business change or core value changes, core value product delivery, as I usually say core value, but Arif says it's actually a bit nerdy. But the problem is you can easily pretend you're actually doing it. So what you're supposed to do is have this meme. And think about it. Think about it in a way that Drake says, no, I don't like PowerPoint, but I love Excel. What it means is it's not about Excel itself, but it's all about data and tangible outcomes. How do you know that your outcome is tangible? Is it just pretty words and pictures, or do you have actual data? If you have a physical thing, for instance, if I want to produce a tape measure, I can easily create plenty of slides and, I can create a video, how it just moves, but nothing beats the real thing. The real thing can give me data about how sturdy it is it useful, is it accurate, is the price okay, are people really buying it? Real data, real feedback from real users is 100% and 100 times more valuable than just theoretical analysis. Analysis needs to be done. But the thing about the sprints is they should end with real, tangible things. So, as Deming said, in God we trust, but everyone else brings data. And this is why you might remember, and some people might have told you that have done Scrum in IT or in tech, that sprints are supposed to be 2 weeks. We ourselves, if we're working outside of tech, we usually, because it's usually harder to change things except software or maybe marketing or things that are written, we usually recommend 4 weeks. So having a 4-week sprint makes it easier to produce tangible outcomes, but it's still difficult, isn't it? So if you are working in sprints, wonderful people in the audience, give us a thumbs up so we know you're actually doing your best to work in sprints. But Arif, if we look into this slide, working in this way and delivering tangible outcome every sprint is incredibly difficult, isn't it?
It's incredible, yeah. And I think what maybe we should appreciate for our viewers is where they're coming from, right? So where they're coming from and what they're maybe used to doing, and the change that Scrum is inviting you to move towards. So this idea of working in an iterative way, where you're having time boxes, where you have to demonstrate some value at the end of a time box, that's a big shift for people. If you're in a traditional setting where the expectation is, well, let's get a plan together first, let's review our plan, and then we'll get stakeholders to comment on it and get everyone approved, and then maybe the 3-4 months down the line, it's 3-4 months down the line, we'll then execute, right? And this could be a 6 months, 12 months engagement overall, right?
Yeah.
Scrum is saying, nah, you don't need to do all of that. Why would you want to do that? Don't you want to see results sooner? Well, come on board, right? That's what Scrum
sounds simple, doesn't it? Yeah.
It sounds simple, but it's hard work because it requires tight collaboration. Absolutely. It requires, trusting each other in your team, working in a completely different way. I saw a comment from Jose. Jose is asking, for example, are there differences in how you integrate a project team, traditional versus agile? Here's the real thing, Jose. It's not that. It's actually, this is completely different. So what we're saying is, now if you want to adopt agility, then your team now has to behave in this way. So your Scrum is inviting you is to completely change your behavior, change your processes to follow this model, as opposed to having two separate processes running in parallel, right? So either you go full steam ahead and apply some of these agile ways of working in your team, or you don't. So the choice is there, really. But if you do that, then the invitation there is, now you're being asked to deliver on a more frequent basis. You're being asked to deliver tangible results, and if there is no outcomes that you can demonstrate value against, then there's a real question mark about what you're delivering.
Well, and Arif is saying that with like his soft voice, being really soft-spoken about it, but actually it's really hard, and
Yes.
It's supposed to be hard. The thing about it is, people think that, oh no, tangible outcomes, it's fine, we all have tangible outcomes. And then a person like myself, a coach, comes along, or a consultant, and I ask some questions, and what happens is you find it difficult to deliver tangible outcomes. And you can ask yourself, but TK, why? Why are you giving me all this stuff? Why is it so difficult? It's fine. It was okay when I was working my old way. And now I have to do it differently. Or the same with business change. Yeah, it's okay, we need to analyze. And you're telling me we're supposed to put some small aspect of business change into reality, into the organization in 4 weeks. But there's a very important reason for that, which is, once you lower the water, all the rubbish will come out. So if you wonderful people in the audience could let us know, what do you think about that? And Arif, what does this represent? No one likes rubbish, I guess, unless you're a bin collector.
I suppose
you still don't like it, I guess.
By forcing such change in behavior, in process, it will really quickly reveal dysfunction, right? So you'll really quickly reveal dysfunction in your organization, and in terms of how, for example, there is, not how, but the relationship between leadership, management, and people doing the work. Also dysfunction in, for example, how you get value delivered to your either the consumer, whoever you're delivering to, or delivering that change. So that process there. So there's lots of dimensions under which dysfunction gets revealed very quickly by changing drastically how you work through this process change, of applying Scrum. That's what I would say.
And absolutely, I think, but there's a reason why the rubbish is there, because it was always there. So when you get the water down, it gets exposed. And trying to go back to the old ways, it's like putting the water back in. Not really the solution you're after, and not really the thing you should do. So it hurts to do that, because your process is either for delivering of goods and services, or for business change, there's something wrong with them, and they've always been a bit rubbish. And these blockers, these pieces of waste, these dysfunctions were always there. And you have a choice, either to deal with them or just sweep them under the carpet. But I'm hoping that by being here, you are one of the people that is actually willing to deal with them. You, interested in agility, interested in putting agility in your organization, are an agent of change. You are a person that's there to do something differently. Especially in a non-IT industry. If you're not working in tech, agility may be something new to you. And we ourselves have seen it multiple times. How companies want to introduce it, and yeah. But Arif, you've got something to say.
I was just looking at some of the comments.
Oh,
and
yes.
It's not,
sadly, they don't work for me.
No, but it's nice to read people's thoughts, opinions, and listening to what we're saying. Someone's asking, Chamer's asking, can we apply Agile in all sectors or fields, for instance, right? And why not? I mean, there may be difficulties in some more than others, but generally speaking, wherever there is a degree of variability in the type of work you're doing, where things are not always constantly the same, and there is some degree of complexity, as in, changes in the market, in the environment, in the circumstances of what you're delivering or the change you're trying to deliver will affect the end output, then there's a very strong case for agile ways of working being beneficial for you.
That's a very good thing, Arif, and a great question. So let me give you an example, right? So first of all, if there's something really standard that you really know how to do, like for instance, I don't know, call center operations. You just operating a call center, but and theoretically the domain is well known, right? You know exactly what to do, and you will ask yourself, what is the variability? As Arif said, agility is great with variability. But we said agility is a Scrum, and agility is applied in two parts: business change and product and service delivery. Your product and service delivery is very standardized. But if you want to change something about your call center, this is where Scrum can come along and really help you.
Good idea. Yeah, definitely. If you want to introduce some new process, introduce some way of working, or introduce some changes that definitely will have an impact on your staff and your effectiveness, then we can apply agility, can't we? Yes, you're right.
My old boss said you don't build bridges in an agile way. Whereas actually, if you look at the new bridges that are being built, the architects are constantly trying to push the envelope, constantly trying to make their bridge look differently and be unstandard. Standard bridges, yes, but there are people that don't want to build standard bridges, and I guess they're experimenting. So that's that. Arif, any other? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're touching on something there, innovation. So there are plenty of organizations and plenty of business out there who may have departments or teams dedicated to innovation. So they're looking, or they've been tasked to innovate within their field, come up with new product ideas, new service ideas, new ways of delivering what they're delivering, or new ways of building what they're building. This is perfect for agility because this is all about the unknown. And typically what we find in an innovation space is you are being asked to come up with something that no one else has come up with before. Completely brand new, never been done before, right? And car manufacturers are always pushing the boundary. F1 teams, Formula One teams, always pushing the boundaries, always constantly innovating. And the teams that are able to, work iteratively, i.e. through short cadences, testing ideas out in those short cadences, reviewing assumptions, trying something else, experimenting, those teams and those organizations that apply that approach tend to come out on top. And if you want to take a very traditional way of trying to innovate, you're going to struggle, right? You can't plan innovation. You can't, budget for it in a way where we can. So we're going to decide everything, plan everything, cost it all out, and then we're going to innovate using that approach. It doesn't really work. Yeah, good luck. So that's another dimension that, definitely agility can be your friend.
But again, it's difficult. There's nothing for free, isn't there? Okay, Arif, one more question, one more comment, and we can start slowly going.
There's some good ones here. I mean, there's another another comment here. Chantal's asking, can we use Agile in logistics, air forwarding or sea forwarding? So I guess that's freight, logistics and freight. I'm sure we could find ways.
And what happens when your Suez Canal gets blocked?
Yeah,
how you have to adapt, right? So logistics is as many areas of operations is about reducing the variability. Agile is there to, when you apply it. So again, your service is that reducing variability in logistics, but your business change is very variable because logistics, everything is subject to innovation, is subject to change, even if the change is reducing variability. So in operations, you might not necessarily always want to use agility. In your business change to make your operations better, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say something. I think just generally, I think that the breadth of people who've got various ideas of where to apply it, fascinating. I'm loving the comments.
It is fascinating.
Keep the comments coming. Thank you.
I'd love to maybe get LinkedIn to be more iterative and display these things for you, because when I'm streaming, I can't always see them. But thankfully, Arif is there to help. But we've got something interesting coming. So if you're interested in this topic some more,
time. Oh my gosh. The time has gone so fast.
I know, Arif. This is why I always tell you, look at the time.
But I think when we introduce our next topic, right? We our next event. We're going to talk about that in a moment, aren't we? TK?
We are. But before we do so, we actually have a special offer for you.
We have a special offer. Before we're going to talk about the taster. There's so much to talk about. I want to mention the next event and the only because based on the comments that are coming in. Please do join us for our next event as well.
The fireside chat.
Yeah, not just yes. Okay, we'll go. Let's come back to that. Let's focus on an offer. What's our offer, TK?
So yes, the taster. So the taster is, if you're interested in hearing more, if this is not enough for you, we're training agility quite a lot with our clients, and we wanted to show you how we do that, because we do that in our own humble way, which is quite unstandard, very interactive. And you would like to learn more about agility, and if you would like to see how we do it, click this link, or actually, maybe you want to even go and scan this QR code, or go to the Humble Associates /June taster, where you'll have an option to sign up. The taster is running next week on Tuesday. I think it's 1 p.m. So sign up. I would love to have you there, and we'll tell you more about how we train agility if you want to introduce your organization to agility. So Arif, what's the event you wanted to talk about?
Well, I just want to say, based on the comments that are coming in, and people got loads of ideas of where Scrum or where agility might apply in their sectors, come along to our next topic around, I think it's going to be around Kanban, isn't it? So, So that might also give you some completely different outlook in how a different methodology may help you in your sector. It doesn't have to be Scrum. We just know from what we've been doing, Scrum has had some serious benefits to our.
It works wonderful for business change.
It works well for business change.
And we'll talk a bit about it on our taster too, because this is like the first module of our longer agile training, which you might be interested in for your organization. But there's more this week, Aaron. What about the fireside? This is a cool industry.
Yes. Okay, so if you want to know about a different industry and you're curious about agility, we're talking to John McGuinness on Thursday. He's a very experienced people and talent manager. So people manager, talent development person. He's all about how to develop staff in organizations. He comes from a HR background, I suppose. And he's going to be sharing his experiences with us this Thursday. And we'll be talking to him about maybe where agility can apply in the type of work he does. So I think it's going to be a fascinating conversation. Go to the link. Where is it? Is it not? There's no link. No, it's on our LinkedIn.
Go to our LinkedIn page, and you'll definitely find it there.
Exactly.
It happens and register. It happens on Thursday. Yes, the 22nd.
Thursday,
and
finally, 22nd.
Finally, let's not forget about our wonderful gem on Friday.
Oh, too many events, basically.
I know, right? But if you want to have a conversation with us, if you want to join this conversation, not only in the text, but listen to us having a free-flowing conversation and connecting what's currently happening in the world to agility, join us on Friday morning. Humble Breakfast Jam. Every Friday morning, 10 a.m. BST. So yeah, come along. There's so much we're doing. So like and subscribe to all of that stuff.
Plenty of things going on. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us. I think we're ending, aren't we, TK?
We are ending because we're out of time. So it's been lovely having you, and have a great week. Hopefully, we'll see you soon.
See you soon
Bye
at our
bye.
next event. Bye bye. Cheers. See you soon.